What's going on, guys? So, I want to talk about anxiety and relationships. This can be family relationships, a significant other, a wife, girlfriend, sister, brother, any type of relationship, even a friend. Whenever you have really bad anxiety, and that can be, panic disorder, or it can be stress or depression, it affects the people around you. Whether you want it to or not, it does affect them. It's very hard for somebody that has not gone through some type of mental illness, mental condition, anxiety disorder, some type of issue like that for them to understand. Mental problems are just as bad as physical problems. They can lead to everything that a physical problem can lead to. Whenever I had bad panic attacks, that's how it all started with me. I felt like literally the only person I could talk to was my mother. I couldn't even talk to my girlfriend at the time. The girl that I was with, who I was with for about 4 years, and she was there through the most of my panic attack, disorder time frame. She was basically just annoyed by it. And I can understand that to a degree. I'm a man. Men are supposed to be, strong and mentally sound, mentally strong, not get emotional, things of that nature. And I think guys, we really put a lot of pressure on ourselves to hide our anxieties, hide our depression because we think it's weak. Well, first off, I'm here to tell you it's not weak. Everybody has struggles. If anything, you worry about more things than most men worry about, because a lot of men are just jerks. Okay, you actually care about things that other guys aren't caring about, and that goes for you too, women. It's not weakness. All right, we just really think too much sometimes. We're too smart for our own good. Our mind is causing symptoms, for crying out loud, that we can't explain. So people do not understand this. People do not get the misery that depression brings, the horrifying experiences that panic attacks bring. I knew what it was like to feel like you were dying every single day. If you have hypochondria and health anxiety, it's horrible. You're diagnosing yourself every day with something else. The minute you're getting over one form of cancer, you're diagnosing yourself with another. Then it's on to heart disease, and all, everything is a possibility. It doesn't matter about statistics. It doesn't matter how many times you go to the doctor. It's a nightmare. A freaking living nightmare to have a mental problem. To have a mental issue, mental disease, mental illness, condition, whatever you would like to call it. It is miserable because you can't escape. You have to work day in and day out to change your brain chemistry. And a lot of it's fear. Fear, drives it to the top of our, subconscious mind. So that's why it's so hard to get away. And it's so hard to correct it. It's so hard to change your brain chemistry. It doesn't happen overnight. So people just do not understand it. People don't get it. They don't see why you should be upset. And it takes a special type of person to really be able to help you and see you through it, even though they're not going through what you're going through. That's why there are these support groups. That's why I have a Facebook group. That's why I have this YouTube channel, because I feel like you need another outlet, another person to talk to, and it's hard to find people to talk to. My friends didn't understand. If anything, they thought it was funny whenever I was having a panic attack. I had one friend that was pretty good at it, but I could tell he was even kind of like looking at me after we pulled over on the side of the road. After I was having a major panic attack, he looked very worried about me, and he just looked like he didn't know what to say. And there really wasn't a lot he could say. I mean, if you have panic attacks, there's not much that in that moment is going to help you. You have to wait for them to pass to start, really coming to your senses and be reasonable. So I didn't have many friends. I would call my mom, and I'd basically cry to her, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. I would cry and tell her that I was just wishing that this would stop. She understood, and she told me. She got frustrated with me a few times, but I guess if somebody was calling you every other day, telling them that you're dying and they're not dying, it can be frustrating. So I talked to her, off and on all the time, and she helped me. Thank goodness for her during that time, because I didn't have anybody else to talk to. Me and my girl, we were together for 4 years, and I really think that my panic attack episodes and my constant health anxiety and my depression eventually, led to us splitting up. My drinking got out of hand, our relationship went south, and I think, she left me, and that's how that is. I'm happy where I'm at, and everything happens for a reason. I have a beautiful wife and 3 amazing children now, so I wouldn't have met them if this didn't happen. So I believe in that. I stick to that. But, as I was saying, it affects relationships. My mother understood my issue, but my father didn't. He was always like, even though he suffered from the same thing, he just didn't work with me. He didn't want to accept it. He was just, there's nothing wrong with you, you're fine, and all this stuff, and you need to get over it, and all this stuff, it's getting out of hand, you're just acting crazy. It doesn't work to talk to somebody that has an anxiety issue like that. It does not work. So make sure that you are showing compassion to people. If you have a significant other that has an anxiety issue, talk to them with compassion. It'll help them. Let them know that you're there to support them. You need somebody. Whenever you have a bad mental issue, you really need support. Even if you don't want it technically, you think that you're better off alone, you need it. You need somebody to talk to, you need somebody to lean on. So make sure that whoever is the closest to you guys, try to come at them in I guess a gentle way, and let them know what you're going through, and ask to not be judged. If they judge you, they do. Maybe they're not good in your life anyways. But just talk to them and tell them what you're going through, and let them know what you need, from a friend, or, let them know, let that person know what you need as a significant other, or a husband or a wife. If you're married, that person really needs to be showing you respect and helping you. So I hope that they're doing that. My wife does a good job. I really don't go through many episodes anymore. I really don't have panic attacks anymore, or huge anxiety episodes. Thank the Lord. But, she's there for me whenever I'm stressed out. And that's how it should be. The last girl that I was with, that's what happened. I think that is what eventually led to our, the ultimate endings, where she didn't want to be with me anymore. And, I was upset at the time, and I felt like, you're throwing away 4 years, but, at the same time, I was going through a pretty rough period. So if you've lost anybody from this, if you've lost relationships, I'm so sorry. If you have made some ill decisions on, how you've treated your friends, or how you've treated the people around you, I'm sorry, because that happens. We tend to lash out. We just need to work on the anxiety, ourselves, itself. And, that's not a quick, easy fix most of the time. So we need to be making sure that we're eating right, and we're exercising, and every single day we're waking up being thankful for what we do have, and being thankful for the people around us that are in our lives. Show the people that support you, a lot of thanks and a lot of gratitude, because if you do that, they'll stick around. It's hard to, be around people that have issues, with their mind. It's very, very hard. You can love them to death, but, they have something going on in their head, and it's hard to support them sometimes, and I understand that. But, you have to find the people that are right for you, and the people that are going to build you up and not tear you down. All right, so keep that in mind also. So if you need any people, any friends, or any, support group, I have a Facebook group right down below. The greatest group of people that you're going to meet. They're going to help you out with your stress, your depression, your anxiety, your panic attacks. They're a great group of guys, and I think you'll fit right in. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't, and hit that notification bell next to it. Also, join my other social networks. I have an Instagram that's dedicated just to anxiety, stress, and panic attacks. That's going to be down below also. Leave me a like so we can get this video up in the ranking, because I would think a lot of people needed to hear this today. And leave me a comment down below if you've had a relationship or a family struggle or something that has had to do with your anxiety issues, or somebody else had an anxiety issue and it kind of messed things up. That can be your boyfriend or girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father. or a best friend that you are not close to anymore because of the anxiety situation that you or her or him has gone through. So just let me know down below and let everybody know your story, and let's get a little discussion going on down there. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and y'all have a good one, all right?